Daisy and the Trouble with Chocolate by Kes Gray. Chapter 11. When I woke up on Easter Saturday, my taste for chocolate was immenser than immense. In fact, I'd been dreaming about chocolate all night. I dreamed that I owned a new kind of bank, where instead of people paying in real money, they had to pay in chocolate money instead. It was one of the best dreams I'd ever had, until Jack Beachwhistle turned up and tried to rob the bank. Luckily, when I pushed the chocolate alarm button, a massive gush of runny chocolate gushed down from the ceiling and turned him into a chocolate Jack. Trouble is, Mum woke me up before I could eat him. I decided I would take Gabby's advice and completely skip breakfast that morning, because I needed to leave as much room for chocolate as I could. I didn't tell Mum I was skipping my breakfast because I didn't want her to think she had wasted her time cooking me toast or putting jam on it. Instead, I just put it in the bin when she wasn't looking. Mum was really pleased when she saw how quickly my toast had disappeared. And so was I, because by 7:30, we were on the road. What is the spirit of Easter? I asked Mum when we got on to the motorway. The spirit of Easter is the true meaning of Easter, she said. What's the true meaning of Easter then? I asked, not really understanding what she was saying. I knew you were going to ask that, said Mum, wriggling her bottom into her seat. For many people, Daisy, the spirit of Easter is a special celebration of the time when Jesus came back from the dead. For Chocolate Land, the spirit of Easter is chocolate. Did Jesus like chocolate? I asked. I don't think chocolate was invented when Jesus was around, said Mum. I don't think there is any mention of chocolate in the Bible at all. I was only thinking that maybe if Jesus really liked chocolate, and was only halfway through a bar when he died, then it would have been a good reason to come back to life again, to finish the bar. I think Jesus came back from the dead for much more important reasons than that, said Mum. Maybe he had heard the idea for inventing chocolate and wanted to come back to life so he could tell everyone how to make it. I can promise you, Daisy, said Mum, that chocolate has no part to play in the resurrection of Jesus Christ or anything to do with Christian beliefs. So why does Chocolate Land think that the spirit of Easter is chocolate then? I asked. Because times are changing, said Mum. More and more people have forgotten what the true meaning of Easter really is. So, today, some people like chocolate more than the Bible? I asked. I guess so, said Mum. Did Jesus have pet lambs? I said. You always see pictures of lambs at Easter. Jesus was the Lamb of God, said Mum. So, was Jesus a lamb? No, he wasn't a lamb, sighed my Mum. Was he woolly? No, he wasn't woolly, said Mum. Did he have a woolly coat? No, I don't think so, said Mum. But there are lambs in the Bible. Yes, there are definitely lambs in the Bible. Is there an Easter bunny in the Bible? I asked. No, there isn't an Easter bunny in the Bible, said Mum. The Easter bunny is a magical bunny that delivers Easter eggs when you're asleep. But he has nothing to do with the Bible either. A bit like Father Christmas, I said. Yes, a bit like Father Christmas, only with longer ears. Has the Easter bunny got a sleigh? I asked. No, said Mum. So how does he deliver all those eggs? I don't know, said Mum. Do his ears help him fly? I asked. Only Dumbo's ears help him fly, said Mum. Is Dumbo in the Bible? I asked. No, Dumbo isn't in the Bible, said Mum. Or Jiminy Cricket, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, or Pluto. What about little fluffy chicks? I asked. You always see little fluffy yellow chicks at Easter. That's because they are born around Easter time, said Mum. They have nothing to do with Jesus or the Bible. They are just born around Easter time. Easter time is springtime too, Daisy. Lots of animals are born in the springtime. I bet Jesus liked fluffy yellow chicks best, I said. Everyone likes fluffy yellow chicks best, said my Mum, but they have nothing to do with the Bible. Are there any big, fully grown chicks in the Bible? I asked. I'm not sure, said Mum. Are there any tiger cubs in the Bible? I asked. Are there any dinosaurs in the Bible? I asked. In a race, who do you think would win out of Jesus, Santa, and the Easter Bunny? I asked. If you were a chocolate bar, which chocolate bar would you want to be? If you were an egg, what kind of chick would you want to hatch into? I think Mum was really pleased to get to Chocolate Land. Chapter 12. Welcome to Chocolate Land. I knew we had arrived at Chocolate Land the instant we got to Chocolate Land, because there was a huge sign above the entrance to Chocolate Land that said, Chocolate Land. The trouble with being totally sure I'd arrived at Chocolate Land is it made my taste buds go all chocolatey straight away. When I wound down my window, I smelled the chocolate. Even my eyeballs turned chocolatey. The Chocolate Land building was immense. It looked like a massive great football made out of chocolate squares. Hurry up and park, I shouted at my mum. Quick, before all the chocolate runs out. The trouble with hurrying up and parking is you can't do it at Chocolate Land because there are so many cars in the queue. Toffee parking zone was full. Fruit and nut parking zone was full. Half milk was full. Full milk was full. Truffle parking zone wasn't actually full, but someone had parked across 2 spaces. Remember Caramel Zone, row 56, said my mum as we finally managed to find a space. I told you it would be busy, Mum said as she locked the car. Okay, Daisy, let's do this. The trouble with doing Chocolate Land is you can't just do it. Because first you have to stand in a queue for ages too. Look at all the people, I groaned. What if they eat all the chocolate before we get inside? Luckily, there was chocolate to eat outside the building too. As soon as I saw the Easter Bunny giving away free chocolates, there was no way I was staying in the queue. The trouble with seeing the Easter Bunny giving away free chocolates is you have to jump on him straight away. Otherwise, he might forget to give you some. And guess what? They weren't even ordinary chocolates either. They were actually mini egg firsts. Well, they were until the Easter Bunny dropped them. Mum says He didn't drop them. I made him drop them. Plus, jumping on the back of the Easter Bunny isn't a very polite thing to do. I still got 9 free mini eggs though. Plus, I got to give him a really big hug and stroke his ears. You should have felt how fluffy they were. You should have heard him squeak. After Mum had helped him stand up again, she made me say sorry and told me to go back to the queue, which was a bit of a shame really, because there was still lots of free eggs I hadn't had a chance to pick up. Luckily, there were loads of other children nearby to help grab all the ones I'd missed. In fact, thanks to us, the Easter Bunny didn't have to put one single free chocolate mini egg back into his basket. Picking up 9 chocolate mini egg firsts was actually really handy because it gave me something to eat while we were standing in the queue. Standing in the queue is 100 times easier when you're eating chocolate, especially free chocolate. In fact, if I'd been able to grab about 100 more of those eggs, I reckon I could have queued for about another 10 hours. Maybe even 11. Maybe even 11 3/4. I don't think Mum could have though. By the time we got right up close to the entrance, she was saying things that weren't the spirit of Easter at all. They certainly weren't things that you would hear in the Bible. 10, 9, 8, I said, counting the number of people that were still ahead of us in the queue. 7, 6, 5. I smiled as Mum opened her handbag and took out our free tickets. 4, 3, 2, 1. We were in. Chapter 13. As soon as we were in, my mum bought a special map that showed us all the places we could go. The trouble with special maps is they are really hard to understand, especially when there are so many different things to look at. Let's go this way, said Mum, pushing me through the crowds of people in the direction of the chocolate rock climbing. The trouble with chocolate rock climbing is I'd never climbed a giant chocolate rock before, especially a chocolate rock made out of plastic to make it look like a giant chocolate bar. Chocolate rock climbing is one of the most dangerous things you can do. You have to wear special ropes and a special helmet and everything. Even better, if you climb to the top, guess what you win? A chocolate bar. The trouble with winning a chocolate bar is, once you've eaten it, it gives you the taste for more chocolate. So, I asked Mum if I could write my name on an Easter egg next. The trouble with writing your name on an Easter egg is there are only 5 letters in Daisy, which means you don't get very much writing on your egg. When the lady asked me what my name was, I told her it was Cinderella Thumbelina Butters because I thought she might give me a bigger egg to write on. Trouble is, all the eggs were the same size. So I underlined my name 7 times. The trouble with eating an Easter egg underlined 7 times is it gives you the taste for more chocolate and more icing too. So, we went to do face painting next. Face painting at Chocolate Land is better than any type of face painting I've ever done. The trouble with normal face painting is they use paint. But at Chocolate Land, they do it with warm, runny chocolate. Plus, they use icing to do the whiskers. Not only that, they don't let you see your face until the warm, runny chocolate has gone cold. The trouble with warm, runny chocolate that's gone cold is that as soon as you laugh, it cracks. And as soon as it cracks, you have to eat it. It was brilliant. After we'd done chocolate face painting, Mum said she needed a sit down. So we went to watch a Chocolate Land concert. The trouble with Chocolate Land rock concerts is you really need to get there early because that way you can sit at the front. Because once the rock people have finished playing their chocolate instruments, they smash them all up and you get to eat those too. Trouble is, we got there quite late, so we had to sit at the back, which meant I didn't even get a piece of chocolate guitar string. The trouble with not even getting a piece of chocolate guitar string is it makes you get the taste for chocolate even more. So we went to do a Chocolate Land jigsaw. Chocolate Land jigsaws are much better than ordinary jigsaws because they're already done. So, instead of putting them together piece by piece, you have to undo them piece by piece and eat the pieces while you are undoing them. Mum said she liked the edge. Pieces best, but I like the pieces with the curly bits. After we'd eaten a chocolate jigsaw, I asked Mum if we could go to the chocolate fountain. I'd heard of chocolate fountains, but I'd never actually dipped anything in one. When we got there was a really long queue. But it was all right because I'd taken some extra jigsaw pieces to eat while we were waiting. The trouble with extra jigsaw pieces is if you hold them in your hand for too long, they start to melt. So I had to eat them really quickly, which was a good job actually, because while we were standing in the queue for the chocolate fountain, a man came along and gave everyone a bag of marshmallows. At first, I didn't know what was in my bag because I'd never had marshmallows before. But when I tried them, I really liked them. The trouble with really liking marshmallows is that by the time we got to the front of the queue, all my marshmallows had gone. So Mum gave me her bag to dip instead. Dipping marshmallows in a giant chocolate fountain is the best, especially in a chocolate fountain that changes flavor all the time. It was brilliant. When the music changed, the chocolates in the chocolate fountain changed too. Sometimes it was brown chocolate. Sometimes it went to white chocolate. And other times it was dark brown chocolate. My marshmallows stayed the same color all the time, apart from once I dipped them. Once my marshmallows had all been dipped. Mum said she needed another sit down. So we went to see the chocolate dolphin show. The trouble with chocolate dolphins is they can't do the same tricks as normal dolphins. All they can do is swim round and round in chocolate, which gets a bit boring after a while. So we went to the Chocolate Land Magic Show instead. Chocolate Land's Magic Show is amazing because it had a magician in it with a chocolate magic wand. He pulled a chocolate Easter bunny out of a hat. He sawed a chocolate lady in half and then joined her back together again. He got a chocolate egg to float in the air above his hanky. He did chocolate card tricks and chocolate juggling tricks and chocolate disappearing tricks. But the best bit was right at the very end of the show, when he kept finding white chocolate doves in the newspaper he was reading. It was so funny, because every time he threw a dove up into the air to let it go, it just fell back down onto the stage and broke into lots of chocolatey pieces. That's the trouble with white chocolate doves. They can't fly. Which meant every time they crash landed, children at the front of the audience could climb up onto the stage, grab the pieces and eat them. And guess double what? This time I was sitting at the front. It was awesome. In fact, if my mum hadn't told me there was somewhere else we needed to be, I could probably have stayed eating white chocolate dove pieces for the rest of the entire day. But we had to go. Come on, young lady, Mum said, lifting me down from the stage. There's somewhere we need to be. Where do we need to be? I asked. It's a surprise, Daisy, she said with a smile. It's a very chocolatey surprise. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and click the bell button so you don't miss out on our next videos. Bye!